Welcome to the Canoga Park Youth Art Center's new series, The Art of Nature, where each class we look at a different way that we can find art in nature all around us. Today we are going to be learning about a leaf rubbing. That is a leaf rubbing. Now, people do rubbings of all kinds of things. They can do rubbings of very old tombstones. You can do a rubbing to get a texture. Say you have a piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to show you how you put it under your paper, and you can do a rubbing, and that way the image, just like a photograph, comes right out. Let's take a look at some other leaf rubbings. Here's a picture of somebody doing one. I want you to notice that the crayon has to be flat, like it's laying down or sleeping. You can't use the crayon like you normally do when you're drawing. It has to be flat. Here's another picture to show you what's going on. See, the crayon is flat or sleeping, as I say. Now, the reason why all these lines are showing is because they're the high side. When you put your leaf down, it has to be all the veins up. That way, when you run your crayon on it, it's getting the stuff that's thicker or higher. Now we come down here. One way of using this as an art form is to just do a whole bunch of leaves, different type of leaves, overlapping, mixing colors. Here's another version where they're not overlapping as much, but you can see all of the detail of these maple leaves. It's a very fun and easy way of drawing a leaf. Up here, they've taken it one extra step further, and they watercolored around their leaf, and they made like this little collection of 12 leaves to look at. And then the last picture I want you to look at is this one. This is another one where each piece of paper is a particular leaf. And just when you think that all leaves look alike, you can see, based on this, that they're all really different from each other, even if it's in small ways. I'm going to show you how to do a leaf rubbing, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do one. So the first thing you have to do is destroy your oil pastels. So you have to break them, and you have to take the wrapping off of them. But don't worry, because they always end up that way anyway. I'm going to use a darker color because it's easier for you guys to see. Right, now I have a whole bunch of different leaves. Look at all these leaves I got different shapes. I've got small ones, I've got big ones. But if you'll notice, I put them all with the veins up. Look at this guy. See, veins up. So now I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick this guy here. And I'm just going to put a piece of paper under it to help keep it in place. And I'm just going to leave it here because I just want you guys to see how this happens. I put my paper on top. I kind of have to hold it in place. Now you can see you have to use regular paper for this. You can't use poster board. Now I'm taking my flat sleeping green crayon and I'm going over each of the leaves. And I can kind of tell where my leaves are because I can see through the paper. I'm going to go to this side. And then this is the vein that goes down the middle, and that's why it's the darkest. There we go. So you can see my leaves now. And the more I put dark in there, the higher spots will get a little bit darker. Let me show you what another leaf will look like. Let's try this guy. Again, veins are up. Get this guy out of here. Put him under my paper. Let's just start seeing what we get. It's kind of a surprise in a way. Wow. Look at that. So you kind of get the feel of where the edge of the leaf is the more you do it. Do you see all those veins? That's a good leaf. The bigger the veins, the better the leaf. There we go. See, look at that. It looks just like this guy. Let's just do one more. And then I'll show you how we can turn that into an artwork. Let's do this skinny guy. So he's a little bit different. Let's put him up here. Get back there. Okay, see I can kind of see him through the paper? Let's make this one orange. Wow. Look at that. Look at the detail in this. Do you see all the little veins? Now those veins are what keeps our leaf alive. Just like in your body. The veins bring the blood and the nutrition to all the different parts of your body. These veins bring nutrition all the way to the different parts of the leaves. So here's how we do it, but now here's how we can make a piece of artwork out of it. Let's get rid of this guy. Now, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to kind of make everything come out from the middle, because what I'd like to do is to make a vase down here. So I'm going to kind of have all my leaves, maybe one drooping down this way. So let's start with this guy here. And I'm just going to imagine about where I want my vase to be. Stop. You want to stop?
Yeah, we can pause. I'm rolling again.
Well, now that we know how to do a leaf rubbing, let's see how we can turn it into a piece of art. So basically, I'm going to have all my leaves kind of coming from a central point because I want my vase to be here. So I'm going to start with this guy. I'm going to put him kind of heading out that way. I'm going to make this, and it doesn't matter what color you make them, right? It's a leaf. It can be any color you want it to be. Darker colors, as I think you've been noticing, have a tendency to work a little bit better than lighter colors are. Do you see the edge of my leaf there? The ragged little alligator kind of edge of my leaf. Put the vein in, and then I'm going to put my little vein. There's the stem of my leaf right there. There's leaf number 1. So now I pull this guy out. And let's grab this little guy here. And I can kind of see where he is through the paper, a little bit of a shadow in there. Now I'm going to pick a different color. Let's pick the orange one this time. You see how that's coming out? Look at that. So pretty. So much detail. There we go. There's this one. Okay. Now we can pull this out. Do you see how they're kind of coming from a central point? Let's try one of these skinny guys here. Okay, so I'm going to put him under. I'm going to overlap them a little bit because things can overlap in art. They look really good when they're overlapped. So he's overlapped a little bit in there. Let's use our red crayon this time. Wow. It's almost like the leaf is coming alive in front of our very eyes. There we go. In fact, I'm going to put 2 of those in there. I'm going to put one over right in between those 2 right there. Just see what happens. And if it's being blocked, I don't have to come all the way down here. I can just do the tip of it because this one's in front of it. I think all we need is one more. Maybe this little guy, and he can kind of be fallen down a little bit. Let's bend it. So he's kind of fallen down. You know how sometimes flowers fall on the side of the vase? Okay, I got him. I can kind of see where he is. See a little bit of a shadow there? Let's try light green. No, let's go with the dark green so we can see it better. So you guys can tell that as I'm coloring, the leaf reveals to me where it is. And I can follow that line so that I know that I'm actually hitting the leaf that I want to get. All right, there we go. Now that's all we're going to use for that, but now we have to make a vase. So now, just to make it easier to see, I'm going to use a black vase, and I'm going to put the top as an oval. That is what the top of the opening of the vase looks like. Now, remember, you can make a vase any size, any kind you want. Most vases, not all, but most, are the same on one side as they are on the other. So if I have a line that goes like this on this side, put a little round on the bottom, it's kind of got to look the same on this side. And there we go. Now, if I wanted to, I could put the line of where the water is. If it's a clear vase, I should be able to see the line of where the water is, and I can have my stems go into the water if I could see it. See how the stems are going into the water? And I think I got a red around here somewhere. Red's missing. Oh, here it is. Thank you. We got the red stems coming in, red stems coming in. Now, if we wanted to, we could color our water. Even though water isn't blue, you can take these types of liberties when you're an artist. An artist can do what they want. So now we have a clear vase with our water that kind of looks blue, but doesn't have to be, but it's floating in space. So we need to have a table form right now. So the tabletop is kind of like a horizon line in a landscape. It shows where the wall is, where the table is. So this is our table. Now we're just going to, let's see, what can we'll have a yellow table. We haven't used that color yet. So I'm just going to color my table in yellow. Now you guys have your choice of how you want to do your backgrounds. You can choose to do an oil pastel background, or you can choose to paint your background, but this kind of paper doesn't take paint that well. So you might want to think about using a background with oil pastel. Now I have all these beautiful colors. I don't want my background to overwhelm it. So I'm going with gray for my background. I'm also using the edge of that. So I can just put in a little bit of texture in here, just enough to give it some atmosphere, but not enough to take away from all my beautiful leaves. So I'm just doing very quickly. Going to fill in some of this space. There we go. Put a little bit down there, put a little bit behind there. Okay, now if I wanted to get super fancy, my vase is technically casting a shadow, and so are my plants. So I can make this a little bit darker on the table. That shows that the light is casting a shadow on there. And if I want to get even fancier, I can take one little leaf. Maybe it fell out. I'm going to put that underneath there. And just do a tiny little leaf that fell out of my arrangement. Like in a still life, they always have one piece of fruit that fell out of the bowl. All right. Leaf rubbing still life. Ta-da! Well, that was fun. And we always have access to leaves. Walk around your yard, walk around the block, pick up some leaves. And this works with all kinds of other things too that helps you add texture to your drawing. So nature supplies us inspiration everywhere. Thank you for joining us for Canoga Park Youth Arts Center's The Art of Nature. We'll see you next week for a new lesson about nature.